city leaders repealing a special tax that was placed on large businesses, including Amazon and Starbucks, to help pay for affordable housing and homeless services. Those and other companies strongly opposed it. And in a big blow to the Trump Justice Department, a federal judge has cleared the way for AT&T's $85 billion acquisition of Time Warner with no conditions. People expect this to prompt a flood of big corporate mergers and media mergers especially. On Wall Street today, stocks didn't move a whole lot as investors await the Fed's decision tomorrow whether to hike interest rates again. The Dow 1 point lower at the close, the Nasdaq up 43. Tesla cutting over 4,000 jobs to save money. The cuts only affect salaried workers, not the people who build cars. And drug makers Eli Lilly and AstraZeneca have stopped teaming up on a new Alzheimer's drug because it didn't work in tests. I'm Tom Busby, CNBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
If you or a loved one was seriously injured in an accident with a semi-truck or an 18-wheeler truck, you need to act fast. I'm attorney Daniel Rudbari. I know how to fight truck companies. Call me 800-325-1454 for your free consultation. 800-325-1454. Truck accident cases are different than an auto versus auto accident. There are so many more issues involved when dealing with a truck accident case. There are federal regulations and state regulations, several different companies that may be involved. I can immediately gather the evidence, get you the medical care you need with no deductible and no copay to you, and get you the compensation and the money you deserve for your injuries. And if there's no recovery, there's no fees charged to you. I'm attorney Daniel Rudbari. I know how to fight truck companies. Call me 800-325-1454 for your free consultation. 800-325-1454.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden. Take a walk.
Real facts, real lives, real science is what you get when you tune in to Smart Health Talk radio show every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. We want our listeners armed with the latest information no matter who we have to call out in the process. No corporate cloaking, no repeats of what you've already heard over and over. We bring what you're not getting from other shows. We're looking for what's having an impact on Americans' lives every day and into the future. I'm your host, Elaine McFadden. I'd like to invite you to learn with us. We're always there with podcasts and videos on KCAA YouTube and iHeartRadio, or live on KCAA Radio, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday. If you're one of those people lucky enough to have a memory of raising monarch caterpillars and watching them magically transform into beautiful butterflies, then chances are it's one of your most cherished memories, the kind that brings a smile to your face every time you think of it. Blue Monarch Project, along with KCAA Radio and their very own Smart Health Talk, are sponsoring a weekly plant sale. We want to help make new monarch memories with our children possible because you can't have monarch caterpillars without milkweed. Revisit that experience you had as a child, create new ones and share them, or just help monarch butterflies and their babies with what they need right now. Safe milkweed. Find us every Sunday from 11 to 5 p.m. in the Redlands Tri-City parking lot at 1378 Industrial Park Avenue. Expect to find milkweed and beautiful flowers that butterflies and hummingbirds love, all grown without chemicals or pesticides that can hurt butterflies and people too. Go to BlueMonarchProject.com for more information.
Whether you swing a hickory shaft mashie niblick or the latest titanium hybrid, golf is your game, and the Boy Scouts need you. To be specific, the California Inland Empire Council of the Boy Scouts of America need your help in joining them for their 10th annual Golf Classic at Los Sureños Golf Club in Chino Hills on Friday, August 10th. A continental breakfast and a lunch are included, and we tee off at 7:45 a.m. Proceeds will help to offer young people responsible fun and adventure.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children ride to see Mother Nature's side?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone. This is Smart Health Talk radio show. I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, a registered dietitian with the Masters in Public Health. And why are we here? We're here for you. That's why. We have a lot of things going on that impact our health besides just what we choose to eat. And all kinds of things in our environment are making a big difference. Just take something like access to health care. How many people out there don't have access to health care? And I don't know if you know this, but it's actually the number one reason for bankruptcies. It's like 60% of the bankruptcies in our country are health care related. And these are not people that have been bums their whole life. These are people that have paid their insurance, went to their jobs. Some people maybe even never took a day off, never even took their vacations, saved money in the bank, paid their mortgages on time, did all the right things, and then all it takes is a major illness where next thing you know, your insurance company's dumping you, you're selling everything you own, you're selling your house to try and save a loved one's life. And if we have universal health care, which all these other top countries have universal health care, we're like the only one that doesn't. And, you know, this all ties into so many different things. And people are so afraid that they're going to pay more money to help pay for that poor person's insurance. And that is not what anyone should be thinking. You should be thinking, this is great because I'm going to save all kinds of money on my health care. That's all you should be worrying about is yourself. And when we do universal health care now, Trump is promising he's going to get drug prices down. Let's just see how that all works. Seems like they want to do this without the universal health care, when actually the negotiation for drug prices should be part of our universal health care plan. That's really sad that it's not. I can't believe how many people out there are dependent on drugs from month to month, day to day. You know, you can't live without these drugs. And I would like to challenge people. I realize that people are on, are on drugs that, you know, they can't get off of. That's possible. But many people are on drugs because of something preventable. And that's really sad, because that person could end up dying. They could end up in the bankruptcy. Like we said, 60% of bankruptcies are health related. So you have to stand up and start saying, we want universal health care. We were doing that. But I'm telling you, the way that the system that is being implemented here, it is to break us down. It is to make us want to give up instead of want to continue to fight. I even saw articles running saying, oh, stay home. You might as well forget about protesting. That's not going to help. You know, what? Like, who the heck put that out? Oh, we were being a little bit too effective with the protesting, and now they're taking away our internet rights. Oh, my gosh. Oh, and hey, the big news, too, Triple Crown winner for the Triple Crown winner means Belmont, Kentucky Derby, and the Preakness. A horse won all three, and the thing is, the trainer was the one. We had decades of no Triple Crown winner. Then we had a Triple Crown winner, like something like 2 to 4 years ago. I think it was like 4 years ago. And now the same guy produced another Triple Crown winner. Man, I didn't have any money on that. I kind of wish I would have bet on that Justify. It actually paid like $3.40 for a $2 bet. That's not too bad. Anyway, of course, we don't promote gambling here, but you know, it is pretty exciting when you have a horse that great win all of those races. And you know, horse health, pet health, these things are also important. Many of us own animals, and on our show, we're about organic, because we know since the very beginning, poisoning our food never made sense. Poisoning our environment. You know, every single waterway is contaminated with pesticides. There's no getting away from them now. And it's just, you know, we're finding out more and more. What has a new study that came out is validating just how bad Roundup is for our guts, for our gut bacteria. How many of you listening out here are battling with your weight? You just can't seem to get those pounds off. I'd like to invite you to start trying my technique. I am a dietitian. I am, 60 plus here, which means my hormones are whacked out. They're working against me. It's super hard to lose weight. I'm at the time in my life when it's the hardest. Don't exactly have the energy to go work out 3 hours at the gym anymore. I don't know. It's just like when you're counting backwards now on how much time you have left. To go spend 3 hours at the gym looking at myself in the mirror, workout, I don't know. It's just not what I want to do. And I used to work out at like level 5 with the Stairmaster, level 5 with a Life Cycle, sweating like crazy, bicycling, climbing those stairs, just to burn like 350 calories or something. At the end, you're like, what? That's it? And that's like 2 pieces of bread. My attitude now is screw the bread. I would just as soon not eat the bread than have to go work off that 300 calories. The bread's not that important to me anymore. My time and what I get to do with my time and my freedom, and not have to think and feel guilty, oh, I need to work out, and it's working for me. And plus, like the best food, not, going for the organic, keeping those pesticides, keeping the phytates, all these different hormone disruptors and that are in the pesticides as well. Those are not going in my body. And as a result of that, I'm seeing changes, like big time changes with just doing yard work and, lifting things and walking around and moving. This is what we have to do. Now, I want to address a CBS report that they did on Nightline. And in this report, they actually accused Mexico of being the culprits of our heroin addiction. It's because of their gangs and them making heroin and harvesting heroin, the poppies, the opium from the poppies down in Mexico. They're the reason people are dying of opium in this country. Really? Really? My favorite part, that accusing Mexico of it all like being their fault versus, well, actually my favorite part is when they ask the guy, is Trump's wall going to stop you guys from bringing the drugs? And the guy is like, are you kidding? No. We got the tunnel under Tijuana. We got the car. We will find a way to get this drug in. What is the problem? Oh, maybe it's America's appetite for drugs? You think maybe that might be a little bit of the problem? We're the ones demanding it. They're just trying to meet our demand because we want drugs, drugs, drugs. We use like 50% of the drugs made in the world is used in the U.S. We use like 90% of the Vicodin. Oh, and those opiates? Like really, what drugs really have opiates? A lot of these drugs like fentanyl that Prince died from, that doesn't even have opium in it. People think that it has opium in it, but only morphine and codeine are the only two drugs that actually have, and all they don't have like the opium. They have an isolate, an alkaloid that's in the opium. And they're working on totally synthetic. Won't even need any poppy whatsoever. They actually developed a poppy that has that alkaloid in high concentrations, the one they want. And since they've been growing that over on Tasmania, outside of Australia, which is one of the countries besides like India, Southeast Asia, Afghanistan, the UK, that actually grow opium poppies to supply the pharmaceutical industry. And the thing is, poppies in Afghanistan were practically non-existent. The Taliban had gotten rid of them. But then we got rid of the Taliban, and then they're like, wait a minute, we need those poppies to start funding our war. So now Afghanistan's right back up there again, growing all kinds of poppies. So it's just like, we take out one drug lord, and then all of a sudden there's all kinds of gang wars for the small guys, and next thing you know, a bunch of people are dead until someone else comes into power. So is getting rid of these, head of these drug cartels really the answer? I think it's getting rid of America's drug habit. And they're trying to say that this opium is the big problem. Well, just think about what people are really dying of. They're not dying of shooting up. They're dying of taking prescription medications. And where does it start? It starts with the doctor writing a script, and then people getting hooked on it, and then finding ways to get it. And if they can't get it, they're going to find it illegally, whatever they have to do. So just realize, first of all, that these drugs, the heroin that they're talking about, it's killing people, yes, but that is not the majority of the people. The majority of the people, this is coming from the pharmaceutical industry, and I think it's very unfair to be saying that Mexico and their drug cartels are the problem. I think everyone just needs to make it legal. We have shown in other countries like Portugal that when you make drugs legal, guess what? People stop dying of them. They stop dying from them, and you don't have abuse because people are getting clean needles. They're getting good drugs, not something cooked up in someone's basement, with who knows what ingredients. So, and then we can start, instead of spending all this money on the drug war and imprisoning all these people, just like Kim Kardashian had a lady that was like life in prison. We were paying for her to have life in prison for that woman. She is a non-violent criminal. It doesn't even make sense. What about rehabilitation so these people can be with their families? And the homeless issue, and all of these things are tied in together. And if you go to our website, if you just type in homeless smart health talk, you'll come to our blog. We have a great segment from the Daily Show. In Utah, they've solved the homeless problem by giving the homeless a home. And again, what? You're going to give those moochers a home? Guess what? When you give them a home, they start working. They start taking care of themselves. They stop going to the emergency room, which is super expensive and costs the city lots of money. That's why it was actually cheaper to give the homeless a home than to leave them on the street and have them keep going to the emergency room and make the city look awful. We have this, I'm really glad that LA is taking care of it. I know they're going through a hard transition period, but I think that they're on their way to trying to create housing for the homeless. And the homeless in San Bernardino County has just increased over the past year. We have more and more homeless. It is hard to be healthy when you're homeless. This could happen to so many different people. How many of us are just one or two paychecks away from being on the street? It doesn't take much. So, Blake, were you trying to tell me that we have Tiffany on the line? Blake,
yes, I was. Sorry about that.
Yeah, let me introduce Blake to everyone. He's a new member of our team here at KCAA.
With very small handwriting, apparently.
No, I can't. I have these glasses on. I can't see with these glasses on. These are my up-close glasses.
It doesn't help that I use size 0.05 font, though.
Oh, no, and it was super light. I'm sorry I couldn't see it. He's trying to tell me that we have our guest, Tiffany Anderson, and she is, we've been talking about these pesticides. And by the way, with Smart Health Talk, we are not just sitting around talking about this stuff. No, we've been on the air for 8 years now, and we have been taking action locally. Just go to BlueMonarchProject.com. That's our website. Look under local or a problem, local pesticide use, and take a look and see what pesticides are being sprayed around our schools, around our neighborhoods, around these agricultural areas that are located in residential areas across the street from our schools. Extremely upsetting. Extremely. We need people to start facing the truth. We need them to take a look at this and see what's happening. Now, these pesticides are being sprayed by multiple different people. And there's actually a department with our government that is all about pesticides. Yeah, they're called the Vector Department. And they used to have permission to come and spray for the medfly and the mosquitoes and that, but they just lost a court case this year.
Yes.
Where they can't go and do that so much anymore. So that's one good thing. But we're going to learn more from Tiffany. This is like such a big topic that we have had Tiffany on our show this is the fourth time. And we're doing like a series here to really kind of get into this, because even having one conversation with Tiffany, it is really hard to dig deep, even for Tiffany to be able to talk about this stuff. There's emotion attached with it, pain that she has been through, and just knowing that there's other people there that are still suffering it's just a very hard thing for her to talk about. But this is affecting every single one of us. This department goes out, they spray pesticides, it's drifting onto our homes, we're being exposed and we don't even know about it. And these are some of the worst of the worst poisons in the world. And don't think that they're not affecting your health. And then think about our most vulnerable, our children, our elderly, our sick. These people are being exposed against their will, and they don't even know it many times. So but there's so much more, and we're talking billions of taxpayer dollars that are spent on these vector departments. And they want to justify their existence. They want to keep getting the money. They want to keep doing what they're doing. But should we be allowing this to happen? These are the kind of questions that we should be asking. And Tiffany has been doing an incredible job of giving us the inside information on what goes on in these vector departments so that we can start to answer these questions and then get past that level of not just asking the questions and getting the answers, but then contemplating the next action step that we have to take. And you may have saw like Zika posters. I want to talk about that with Tiffany today too. The big Zika threat that we're hearing about, is that real? We'll get into that a little bit today too. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest, Tiffany Anderson. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, Elaine. How are you?
I'm doing great. A little bit too hot for me, but
amen.
You got to get up early in the morning, to get your chores done. That's just the way it is.
I'm getting up at 4. My motto is go to bed before the sun and get up before the sun.
Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yeah, women too.
Yeah. And I am a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning person. It's my favorite time of the day. I'm the most productive in that morning, and it's quiet. I can think. It's nice and cool for the summertime. And
I warn you. I don't know where we're going to go with this conversation. There's just so many places to go, but I have to tell you that this is a time of year, if we were to get up at 4 in the morning, this is the time of year where they take the aerosol trucks and they cold fog. And so they could be potentially spraying in your hometown at 4 a.m. in the morning, so you need to be careful of that.
Yes, and so what does that mean, cold fog?
Cold fog is, I was wondering, were we going to get into species of mosquitoes today? Were we going to get into the pesticides that we use? Where would we go today? But we could start.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and then get into the Zika, because people are starting to see commercials. They're seeing billboards that are warning them about Zika and having.
Don't believe it.
And having babies. I know. I mean, I've had top scientists on the show, Tiffany, and we cannot find any validation where there has been actually even any research that has been able to prove, and something that a lot of people don't realize, the microcephaly with the weird shaped heads that they were trying to scare everyone with, that happens all the time. 2 to 12 babies in every 10,000 births have microcephaly because there is a long list.
Side effects of pesticides or side effects of something that men are doing. Men, when I say man, generic, probably a side effect of something that they're doing. It's not.
Well, that's what you got on. One of the reasons for it is exposure to a toxic substance. And so to me, this is trying to cover up the people that where they were seeing the supposed cluster in Brazil. That is where they are spraying some of the worst of the worst pesticides, Tiffany. They were spraying these heavy-duty pesticides in the drinking water, and they use pesticides like DDT, and pesticides we don't allow here are okay to use in this area of Brazil. And so these people, how can we say this is Zika? And from what go ahead.
It's you can't believe them anymore. I mean, by the time we're done, I hope we put so much doubt or question in the public's mind that they will start going to either board meetings or start, I thought we were going to talk about pesticides, but here we go back to the money, because it always goes to the money. San Joaquin County has two tax assessments on a person. So if you own a home in San Joaquin County, there are 2 assessments that you pay for mosquito abatement. So they don't just have 1 assessment on your property tax; they have 2. And so that funds them pretty nice. Then they create a state of emergency, and of course it was West Nile, but then this greater, better virus came along called Zika, which is,
it's been around for decades and we've known about it. Rockefeller is the one that actually, the Rockefellers own the patent.
Well, right there.
Yeah, they own the patent on Zika. So, start connecting the dots. We have the Rockefellers. We allocated 20 billion taxpayer dollars to create a vaccine against Zika when we have absolutely no scientific proof that it's any threat whatsoever, because people have been getting it, and when they get it, they don't even have any symptoms.
The Rockefellers are the threat, but I'm sorry, because this is your radio show, and I'm
no.
But I was thinking about something. I was listening to your advertisements, and or actually it was the news that came on before your show. It was probably a couple episodes ago, and Monsanto was a big deal. People were really getting onto Monsanto for the herbicide, for Roundup, which is one of the mosquito abatement does not just spray pesticides. They spray herbicides, and they spray aquacultures. And so I was listening, and I didn't really put it together till after we hung up. But so now Bayer has bought Monsanto, and Vector Control uses Bayer products. So now when you say Monsanto, you say Bayer, you say Mosquito and Vector Control District.
And they're going to completely get rid of the Monsanto name because they know it's tainted. And so now we have to talk about the evil Bayer instead of the evil Monsanto.
Well, the thing is mosquito abatement does not just use Bayer. They use Wilbur Ellis. They off the top of my head, can't think of all the manufacturers they use, but Wilbur Ellis, our manager at Mosquito Abatement, his son is a distributor for Wilbur Ellis, so that's a big one that they use.
Is that a U.S. company that makes pesticides? Do they make vaccines too?
I do not know. I do not. Don't know. Good question.
I'll look them up. Go ahead. Good
question. I wanted to show you something. I learned some very interesting information from my local area, and I wanted to show you something. Last week we were talking about all the law firms that the district has, and we were kind of talking about kind of what I've been through, and we haven't even scratched the surface of what I've been through. But I just realized, this is our 4th interview, and I just realized that somebody can watch me. I didn't realize that I was on video. I realized I'm looking at a camera, but I don't see you, so it didn't click that I was being, video recorded. So I wanted to show you something, if you wouldn't mind.
Your video should be up right now, so we're working on getting the video because I want to see what you're showing me, and I just realized that they didn't have the Skype up.
Oh, so that means that right now nobody can see me?
Right. So we're working on getting the video up. So
okay.
We'll have it up in just a couple minutes, and then you can show us.
Okay. So we have a farmer's market here.
Okay, there you are. We have you.
You can see me?
Yeah. Now we can see you.
So the cost of living is pretty high at pretty much everywhere here in California. And so I rent a room, and so I have just 1 bedroom, and I had to decide with all of the things that I owned what I was going to keep and what was going to, what had to go. So I want to show you. I can't see you, so I'm just. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can see this box of documents here.
Uh-huh.
And then this box of documents, like this says West Nile Funds here. And then this box of documents here, box of documents, box of documents, box of documents, box of documents, all my journals. And these are all the documents that the opposing counsel has sent to me, or it's the evidence that I have to back up anything that we might talk about. But when we were talking about the 5 law firms, I just kind of want to give you a visual of what those 5 law firms do. And what they do is they send you a crud load of papers, and they just try and paper you to death.
Well, and what just everyone, if you missed last week's show, what Tiffany's talking about is the San Joaquin Vector Department that she used to work for, that they have hired 5 different law firms. This is a Vector Department. And last week we were talking about how they evade reporting any kind of workman's comp accidents, exposures to pesticides by employees, that all of these things are kept hidden and channeled through the lawyers instead of the workman's comp, and no documentation or OSHA is brought in where they're supposed to be documenting these employees for 30 years after they quit working for the Vector Department. So what's really upsetting for me is that if they were really documenting things truthfully, we would have all kinds of proof on how harmful these pesticides are. But because they're hiding it, do you
see the documents in my closet? I mean, there's proof right there. I mean, nobody. I thought, like, what do I do with these? Should I just take them to a board meeting one day and say, look, here's your papers back?
You said that you're still in contact with people that are working there. Has anything changed since you've been bringing all this to light and accusing them in public?
Nope. Nobody. Okay, there were about 5 people that they used to try to terminate me, and one was I was thinking a lot about this. One is the entomologist. The entomologist is the person who.
But why were they trying to terminate you?
Because I filed a grand jury complaint against them. It started with an altercation between 2 employees, and one employee assaulted a second employee. They were both supervisors, and what was happening was one supervisor was putting the district at severe, liability. He was sleeping with his subordinate. They were out in the field. They'd come back with hickeys on their neck. Apparently, her husband was following employees around with a gun. He actually had went to our manager and told him that he was going to, harm any of the vector control employees. And so the manager did not tell us employees, but he brought the supervisor and the female, he brought them in so they wouldn't get hurt, and left us all out in the field. And so one employee he had the most tenure. He went to the manager and said, look, this guy is a liability. And this guy was doing more than just sleeping with a subordinate. During breaks, he would talk about anal sex. He would talk about oral sex. He would talk about bestiality. He would, he would degrade employees. He should have been terminated. But what we didn't know was that he was participating in a conspiracy to spray the formaldehyde. And so they were just protecting him. And so he assaulted. The manager gave authority to the liability supervisor to go ahead and threaten the other employee, and it resulted in that employee being taken to the hospital and admitted with chest pains. He had a heart attack, and so this is how it all began. Workers' comp came in. They brought an investigator in. They interviewed all the employees. I was one of the employees they interviewed, and I refused to lie during the interview. You know, they wanted, I mean, I didn't like the guy who was assaulted and given a heart attack. Don't get me wrong, I really didn't like him, but I wasn't going to lie because I didn't like somebody. I wasn't going to twist facts around to cover anybody. I mean, I could already see that the manager.
So workman's comp came that time, and that was unusual because before they would never call workman's comp when anything happened.
You know, actually, workers comp. They report some injuries, and workers comp. It's. I don't fully understand it, but like I had 3 exposures within my first year of employment, and what they do is they kind of like launder money through workers' comp. So they actually use the system. They just don't report the injuries to OSHA. So what happens is they I don't know, they make money off of their workers' comp. I know that sounds crazy, but they actually do report some injuries, not to OSHA, but to their workers' comp. They run the injury through that, and then their workers' comp attorneys make the injuries go away.
So how big is the budget for that vector department for
I'd
a year?
have to look. I know that they had, the last time I looked, which was probably 3 or 4 years ago, they had like an $8 billion surplus, and that was just
How much? $8 billion or $8 million?
I'm sorry, million. $8 million surplus.
$8 million surplus.
Surplus, and that's just our vector control. That's not all the joint. Remember, they're a joint power authority, so it's not just my vector control is not standing alone. There are on their self-insurance plan. There's multiple districts. I think I would have to look, Elaine. You know, I knew all this stuff. I knew it really well, but I've been working.
It's okay. It's not important, but the bottom line is these people have all this money, but not just that. They're in charge of some of the most toxic substances on the planet. That's what you guys are. That's what you're in the business of, using some of the most toxic substances we have on the planet.
Wasn't Roundup just sued?
Well, yeah, the state of California, we had it added to the Prop 65 list as cancer causing, and I don't even know what happened because they had went back to court again, and even though we had won to have it on the Prop 65 list, they were challenging, Monsanto was challenging in court that it was actually cancer causing. So they had to bring in all these scientists, and this judge, one judge had to listen to all this testimony, which is like very technical for a judge to have him make the decision.
Especially, well, first of all, in California, I just don't know, I haven't seen a lot of honesty going around here, but my point was Roundup is one product we use, one out of multiple products. I kind of wanted
How
to
do you decide, like when you go to work and they give you like a work order, okay, you're going to go, we need to go take care of this problem over in this area. How is that all figured out? I mean, where does the order come in for them to spray a certain area? Is that from the California pesticide department, the state?
No, it's from the manager at Mosquito and Vector Control District. The manager basically, okay, everything is seasonal. I'm going to tell you something right now because I want this ingrained in your mind and in the listener's mind. Mosquitoes are seasonal. Mosquitoes, they hibernate and they overwinter they come out when it's about 60 degrees outside. And so think about how many months, well, I know you're in Southern California, it might be a little different, but here in the valley, I mean, we actually have some really cold winters, and like our neighboring vector control district, their employees, their pesticide applicators are seasonal, and they work like 6-7 months out of the year, and then they're laid off for 4 months, and they go on. They may work a lot of overtime during the season. I mean, we could work sometimes 7 days a week. When we start getting into the species of mosquito and the temperatures, that's what dictates, that and water that's what dictates when the mosquitoes come out and how they breed. And so the manager is the one who calls all the shots, period. And he's supposed to, like in San Joaquin County, we're broken up into 3 sections. We have the southern, central, and the northern. So we have 3 territories, and so there's 3 supervisors. And so then in the southern area, they changed their areas, but there used to be 19 zones, and so there was 1 zone operator for each zone, and every zone is different. Like when I first began, my first year I was out in Linden, and Linden was predominantly it would be like snow melt. It would be orchards, and I had I had a water district, and I had a one sewer plant, and I was out there for only 1 year, and they called it the slipper zone because they said that you never had to take your never had to take your shoes off. You could just wear your slippers in that zone. And when I first got hired, the assistant manager who assigned me that area, he said, I'd really like you to stay here, because it takes a while to learn the chemicals. It takes a while to learn territories. It takes a while to learn sources. And so you got your species of mosquitoes, your chemicals, your territories.
I guess I'm wondering how the decision process happens, because I guess they have to diagnose, they have to catch certain insects, but I still feel confused. I could see okay, it rained, and and I don't even hear any warnings on the news, to get rid of standing water, that kind of thing. I feel like there's no prevention that happens around here.
Absolutely.
And same there. They're not trying to prevent, use any prevention messages to stop the need.
Oh, they use a lot. Like, we have a PR guy. In fact, when they tried to force me out of my job, I asked, I could no longer do the job that they hired me for, because I'd had 3 knee surgeries, which were were intentionally induced on me. The person who had my position, the position they had put me in, the guy had gone out on a knee injury, and he could not return to his job. And they put me in his position knowing that I would get hurt. And then, but so we have a great PR program. They put a lot of money into it. And, our district is all about looks. It's all about perception. It's all about shiny trucks, really cute, good-looking people, and to be seen. To be seen and definitely not heard, for sure.
Because they're trying to give this impression: we're here for you, we're protecting you,
right,
we're helping you.
Yeah, that is further from the truth. They're helping themselves, for sure. I was thinking a lot about this today. Like, where were we going to go? I wish my job description would have said, "Come to work, put makeup on, be cute, don't ask questions," because I really took my job seriously. I would read books about mosquitoes, and, on my own time at home, I would, research my job, because I really wanted to know what I was doing. And I really, I felt important, and I felt like I was, like I was really protecting the public. And the more that I knew,
Did you notice things dying, like as a result of you spraying, that were unintended to be dying? I mean, when you go out and spray these pesticides, did you see things as a result of using these pesticides that you felt were disturbing?
Well, absolutely. I mean, first of all, I mean, we would spray herbicides, and so we were intentionally going out and killing. Let me see if I can get the terminology right. There, we have the one herbicide that would kill the stems. It's systemic, and then we had I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with the other term. The other one would.
It was more of a foliage.
Yes, exactly. So we had two different kinds, and so we would intentionally go onto people's property without telling them, and we would spray these herbicides. In fact, they've had to buy somebody's vineyard before because of drift. So, but yes, fish. The biggest thing was fish. But if you okay, this is a great segue into methoprene. I don't know how much more time we have, but
we have 10 minutes.
Cool. Okay. So I went to my local farmers market on Thursday. Every Thursday we have a farmers market. And so the city of Lodi happened to be there with their booth. And so, I don't know, I just love going and talking to people, and just, so I went up to their booth, and they had this spin a wheel, and it had numbers on it, and then whatever number you got, they asked you a question. And, you know, I mean, I was cheating because I have a lot of knowledge because of my job. So they were water questions. And when they were done asking me the questions, I started asking them questions. And there's a product that we use called methoprene, or Alticid is the like the name, like the brand name, and methoprene is the chemical compound. And so methoprene is a hormone growth regulator, something that we used during the season. We could use it daily. We used it in so many different places. And methoprene has a residual, which means depending on the size of it, it could last from a month to 4 to 6 months. So there's one called methoprene XR, and it's like 120 days. So 30, 60, 90, 100, yeah, 4 months. So do you know what a catch basin is?
No.
A storm drain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, we have
so
those.
in our storm drains, they catch water, they hold water, and so one of our biggest jobs was.
Is that like a levee?
No, the storm drains are like, okay, so when I used to call it touch the bases, because that was the job that we'd have to do. But if you go to an intersection and you look at the four corners, there's a storm drain that catches rainwater.
Okay.
Or your gut, or like if you're washing your car, your gutter water goes in there. So we would put either BTI in there, which is a bacteria, or we would put this methoprene, the hormone growth regulator. And we would do this in the towns, Stockton, Lodi, Tracy. But now I can only speak for Lodi. This is like new information that I just got last week that was mind blowing. I asked the people that were sitting at the table. I said, where do you dump your storm water? Because we've treated Stockton before with this methoprene, and right after we treated it, the city dumped it. Now I don't know where the city of Stockton dumps their rainwater, but apparently I just learned last Thursday that the city of Lodi dumps theirs in the McCallamy River. So we swim in the McCallamy River. And, our fish is in the McCallamy River. And what they told me, and I have to go do a tour. I have to go check this out because this doesn't make sense to me. But they're taking this chemical the storm drain water that we put this methoprene in, and they're dumping that into the McCalmy River, and then apparently that's what they're giving us to drink and shower with.
And is that harmful to amphibians as well, that methoprene?
I would say their lawyers have done a really good job of covering up what the real effects of methoprene does, but there is a study on the frogs and deformation. If you put in methoprene in frogs, I'm sure that you could find some literature, and if not, I can shoot you some. I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but I know what it did to me. The methoprene specifically, when I began menstruating so bad that I would bleed through my clothes. And so then I went to my gynecologist.
Because it is a hormone disruptor.
Yes. What it does to the mosquito is that when the larva eats, when you put it in the water, the larva eats it, its guts explode. So it doesn't hatch. It doesn't go through the metamorphosis cycle. So that's what it does to the larva. Now, for me, then after I was having these heavy menstrual cycles, and then all this, then the gynecologist, and I was having really bad cramping, heavy cramping, and the gynecologist did an ultrasound on me and they did a biopsy. I had benign tumor, and at that point, I had my eggs were drying up, and so what ended up happening was within probably 1 year, I stopped having periods, and I haven't had a menstrual cycle since. So that's what it did to me. I don't know what it does to frogs.
It says it mimics the natural juvenile hormone absent for a pupae to molt to an adult. So methoprene-treated larvae will be unable to successfully change from pupae to adults.
Right. Isn't that what I said? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a hormone disruptor.
Right.
So it's affecting their ability to reproduce.
So what I'm finding pretty alarming is, okay, it's one thing to have a certified pesticide applicator go put it in a benign place, like one of the things we would treat would be cemetery urns, and okay, so there's dead people there at the cemetery, so you do have to worry about the family member who comes in contact with it and is emptying the water out to put fresh flowers in for their loved one. But what was really mind-blowing to me was this information I just got last week, where they're taking this chemical and dumping it into our McCalmy River where people are swimming, and then our water facility is right there, and they're putting it in our drinking water. I mean, I need to go double check.
Well, it says that it's highly toxic to freshwater invertebrates. It also appears as well. It says low toxicity to adult bees, but it's in the water,
Yeah.
And
bees aren't going to have as much it's not the bees that you got to worry about. It would be the fish. It'd be human. It's always baffling to me. I remember when when I was trying to get the grand jury's attention, for what was going on with me, somebody told me, if it harms an animal, then you will get somebody's attention. But if it's hazardous to a human, people probably won't care. And it's like, what?
I know that doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
Oh, darn, we're out of time. But we got into it even more this time. I'm going to be putting all these interviews together in one place, everyone, so we can really start to evaluate all these different things that we've learned from Tiffany. I want to make a long list of all the things that we need to be thinking about, because this is a place where billions of dollars are being spent to poison us versus being spent on something like universal health care, where it keeps us alive.
Or clean water.
Yeah, and our environment for our children. So thank you so much, Tiffany. And this is, I'm Elaine McFadden, your host from Smart Health Talk. And please come back and join us and go to our BlueMonarchProject.com, and our plant sale is here every Sunday from 11 to 5. So please come and visit us on Sunday. I will be here with lots of other new plants. And thanks so much for tuning in. And thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. This is KCAA Radio and Smart Health Talk.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
A great radio show may sound like it's easy to make, but if you've ever tried, you know that's not the case. With the time spent engineering, producing, and archiving, you end up losing focus on what really matters, the content of your show. If you put your show on the Gab Radio Network, you'll be able to leave all those technical worries to our staff of highly trained engineers and producers. And all you need to do is have fun and put on a great show. Want to find out more? Send an email over to sales@gabradionetwork.com. That's sales@gabradionetwork.com.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield.